your favorite document?
This passport. So this is definitely something that from time to time, even randomly, I just pick up and appreciate, and it states there, German.
How is the feeling to have a nationality and a passport?
It's just the feeling that someone suddenly recognized you, and it feels a lot that you are now really officially part of something. It's totally different when you initially thought of it, oh, what would happen? But now you have like that sort of attachment of that you are being recognized. It's a great feeling. A few times we actually just invited the neighbors, I think 2-3 times, to a falafel party, we call it, where like at least 20 falafel is made and everyone can take one or two.
Is that a way for you to connect to Syria?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, falafel is a very traditional dish that you usually eat on the go and in the morning, and it's very famous and delicious. From inside of me, it's always that same little kid who doesn't want to grow up, thinking about games, and contacted almost every gaming company in Germany, almost over 100 applications. Eventually, Plyon contacted me for one of their job listings, and I was invited to interview at Munich, and eventually, actually, they said also no first time. After a few months, I applied again. And this time I was interviewed and it worked. My grandpa and his kids, which were my uncles, had to leave Palestine in 1948 as one of the conflicts there erupted. They thought of Syria as a refuge place initially so that they can probably return after the conflict is resolved. That didn't happen, and my grandfather actually settled there in Syria. There were laws in the system that tells you only if you are of Syrian descent you can take nationality. Descendant means only the father. And as a result, they couldn't get nationality. And this kind of heritage actually stayed with them. He transferred it to me later. You don't belong to any state. No matter what you do there, you live there, you do whatever, it's not gonna work. I've graduated from university in 2010. I've received my Bachelor in Science in Finance, Investment and Banking. And after a year, the Syrian civil war started. I was just sitting behind my computer, writing a few stuff there, and then I felt actually the earth was shaking. And then it was like after a few milliseconds, it was like, what's that, an earthquake or what? Like, and then suddenly you see like sudden flash of light. And then like shortly just after this flash of light, everything like shattered, the windows and stuff. And then just like everyone woke up like shouting and screaming and stuff, and just you want to see what's happened. And you go outside and you see like really like rain, like fire rain coming just down from the sky, and you hear airplanes and everything is just crazy. Where I was living, there were constant bombings and explosions, and the war like shattered almost I think like even the university where I was, like you just learn that this has been turned to rubble. We actually just seen some footage that the place where we used to live is actually completely shattered and into rubble. This war mentality, when it's about like how people react, it's actually very scary to witness. And that's only destruction that's happening, but everything surrounding it. It's from, you know, people queuing for essentials, some people fleeing the country. I mean, you see businesses just closing and everything almost coming to an end. So my family consists of my mom and dad and 2 brothers and 1 sister. It was really hard when seeing, for example, my sister, you know, screaming because some rockets fell down near the house. Same with my parents, everyone, like, you know, seeing them every day, afraid of, you know, hopeless sometimes, and it's hard. One of the days, actually, there was like roadblock, and I was going down from teaching activities that I was doing at that time. One of the armed men thought that what I had in my hands was actually bombs, and I was holding just books. He rolled the gun and he told me, drop the bomb. At that point, I think the war was already made all these horrible things, way more horrible things on so many people, including me. And I just said very coldly, I remember, like, yeah, these are books. And I was really looking at his eye with all the challenge. I didn't feel afraid, actually. That was something I will always remember. I was just going out and I was waiting for anyone like hitchhiking or something, and over a bus or anything that takes me, and there was for a long time no one. And then suddenly I, pew, you know, like almost the sound that I hear now in games when snipers and then your ear makes like this beep sound, and then whoa, wow, that was really close. I could hear it just reflected on, I don't know, I was sitting like here and there was like, you know, electricity pool just maybe 4 meters or something. And then I heard like, he, of course intentionally he could hit, but he wanted to just hit that so that, hey, go back. I mean, I don't remember I moved actually. I just stayed or didn't take cover, just continued. I really want to go. You could hear the mortar shell just coming down, and actually the last thing you hear, it's just penetrating the air, and the mechanic movement inside that weapon is just, you hear it and then it hits the floor and then you see explosions.
What is the sound?
It's the sound of, it's like something going brrr, and then poof. So once you hear the first one, you see the first one, there will probably some to follow, so you have to I just went to take cover. After a few minutes, when everything stopped, the ambulances just came, collect the people who were dead, and people just tried to continue with their lives. Thank you. After all these horrific things, and after quite a few times, you kind of become less afraid of things, and you build that kind of resistance, sadly. I hope it wasn't indifference for me at all. It was just adapting. I was still trying to continue to stay sane when the world was going crazy. So gaming for me as a passion started way longer when I was very young. It started actually with the computer of my aunt. She had I think game was Ace Combat. The first I got my hands on, and then wow, you can even fly a plane and do so many cool things. I would stay at my aunt so much time that even my father like, hey, come, just don't sleep at your aunt's place. And then I got the first classical Atari second-handed until I got a used PlayStation 1 and then PlayStation 2 eventually, and then here's the transformation when I was starting to be Xbox. And I traded my PlayStation 2 to Xbox 360 at that time. During the wartime, it was even harder to get, of course, games than almost anything else, but I couldn't even at that time stop thinking about that passion. That also part of what kept me going. It creates that world where it's all about dreams and colors, and that in games you always find easily. It was a kind of joy amidst the, you know, ultimate breakdown, so to speak.
How long time can you play with a fully loaded
It
battery?
depends. Actually, once you start to learn these tricks of getting batteries working on electricity, you have to learn about, voltage rates and consumption and how much it takes. I think the one we had used to set kind of things like 2-3 hours. It wasn't enough to finish the game one shot, but took several shots of recharging it.
This is hardcore.
Oh, so yeah, if that's hardcore gaming, then maybe I'm in the club. Still remember on the way, like seeing the horizon was covered with, battles, and you could see like on the horizon, like a lot of war dust coming from buildings and so on. And human suffering, you could see it almost around every corner, and yeah, it was horrific. One of the soldiers who was at the border, he was just walking randomly, and he saw that my ID is kind of different, and he told me, "Oh, you, okay. Are you different? Just go take the route from here and go to the officer." I was okay, well. He told me, "Yeah, these tricks don't work on us." I was like, "Yeah, I just need these exams. This is what I do." He told me, "No, we know you. All the Palestinian refugees just come here, they sit, and they never go away." And I was like, "No, that's not the case. I really want to go to the exam. This is the papers if you don't believe them." He told me, "No, just go. I didn't decide that you are eligible to come in." I really have to do it. That's like one of the most important exams in my life. And he said, no way. He told me, "Just go out before I put your name on the ban list to enter the country forever." He just threw the papers away and told me, "Just go away." And I had to take the papers, collected them, and just had to return. And the feelings, I was like, yeah, whoa, one of my dreams is really being shattered here. I was pale and hungry and really tired, and still like, yeah, give me the exam. And eventually, I felt I did well. It was the first time I speak ever with someone German. It was the exam committee, and they told me, "Oh, okay, that's good." So I returned, everything is fine, hopefully, and eventually exam results came in, and they were really good results. It was so much different. They told me, "Okay, go." I couldn't even believe how wow, this is just the same as a few months ago, and now it's a totally different thing happening with just a paper and a document that you are showing. It was a bag of mixture of feelings. It's like this is the place that I have been almost struggling at for the last 4 or so years at war, and peak of different emotions. And I knew that this is a time where you had to book like one-way flight. Probably I will never be there again. It was hard that, some people you may not places, childhood places you will never see again. But at the same time, one of my dreams that I was focused on is finally came to be true. It was really quiet and very super friendly and gave us a very peaceful big house, and it was like, wow, like this is the first time for me where I don't hear like, you know, the sound of war for a long time, like for a complete one day. It was like really unbelievable because it didn't happen. All the places where I lived through the war, it was like always bombings, always something happening, always explosions, and it was like, wow, first few days, wow, it's like I could even hear the quietness of, you know, birds singing. Very few days I was sleeping and I could still get these nightmares actually of the sounds of war, and waking up like sometimes, you know, very sweaty, shouting and like, whoa, what's happening? And realize, well, wait, relax, you're now safe somehow.
It's really good.
Frankfurt, for any finance or economics major, is the hub for dreams. It has 2 central banks. Financial market is there. I saw a lot of very smart, bright students from all over the world, and I had just to hit the ground running at academia, something I always liked and always find pleasure doing. With the background of a banker in education, I'm often asked like, hey, what are you doing in a gaming company? There's probably more opportunities that are more rewarding financially in banking sector, so what are you doing at games? It's not about that, like doing things with passion is the most important, that going every day with a smile on your face, doing exactly what you want to do is rewarding. Just don't worry about being financially rewarded or capped. Just trust yourself and good things will come.